the holidays coming up, I wanted to show my love and show my appreciation for holiday horror. Holiday horror is such a unique thing. It comes once a year. You can like put on whatever you're most attached to. For me, I'm mostly attached for during Christmas time at least. I am mostly attached to the Black Christmas 2006 remake.
Can't we just get on with this thing?
We have to open Billy's present first. It's a tradition.
I'm really not okay with any of this. Buying a Christmas present for a serial killer?
Billy lived here.
I had recently seen the original, which was directed by Bob Clark, who did A Christmas Story, which people love to sit around and like watch that movie. Like, there's a channel that plays it like fucking 24/7 on Christmas. It's kind of annoying. It made me sick of that movie. But I'm glad. They should like just play Black Christmas 1974 like all day instead of that boring movie. People like it. It's fine. It's like kiddish. If I had to take like a kid's like Christmas movie, I'd watch Home Alone any other day of the week. It's like I find Black Christmas 1974 and 2006 just a good companion double feature to watch. Like it's the first Black Christmas 1974 is a more creepy, slower kind of paced movie where it's more of your typical like mysterious, spooky feeling, whereas 2006 it's just all out crazy. It's like it almost makes you want to like vomit. It's more like dark like compared to 1974. 1974 has its elements of like weird like with characters just doing their own weird dark shit, like being like alcoholics. It's that aspect of being, you know, a Black Christmas is in there, but with 2006 version, it's just up to your face in grossness. It wants to make you vomit. It's mean-spirited. It's a true, definite Black Christmas if I've ever seen it. Like compared to the 1974 version, it's more depraved. You had like 30 years of fucking horror just to lead up to this nightmare. Especially in 2006, that's the era of like torture porn movies like Hostel and Saw. It really takes inspiration from those and Final Destination, which the writer of Final Destination 1 and 3 directed Black Christmas 2006, and you can kind of tell it's just it's there to show gore and like just to be shocking. It's really fun. Fun in a loose sense. It's so gross. 1974 Black Christmas is a fun classic. It's like the slow pace of it and just the whole vibe of it is more down to earth. It feels more appropriate for a Christmas movie, whereas the 2006 version is just so insane. I'll go into 1974 Black Christmas first because it makes sense to just do that one first because I'm honestly less familiar with it. I recently seen it this year, and so, you know, going into it, I was pretty hyped because I'm a big fan of the 2006 version, and I know this one's like a classic. I always hear it's like one of the greatest slashes to ever be made, and it was pretty, like, it was honestly pretty creepy. It was the slow pace of everything made it just the lingering, like, just dread-filled like movie. It's pretty hardcore. Honestly, like with like every phone call just being like a weird like creep saying like the most disturbing shit to women because it's focused on a sorority house, just like the remake. It's these women are gathered up in their house. They live there. They just are celebrating Christmas. It's Christmas time. Everybody's all happy and everything is going good until the movie opens up with like a POV shot, which there's a ton of POV shots in this movie, which is such a good like aesthetic for slashers, where you're in the POV of the killer. It's supposed to make you feel sick almost, like stalking, like you're the one like stalking these people. Where in this movie it's a ton of women. It makes you feel gross, which is a good thing for a Christmas horror. Like Christmas movies are supposed to make you feel good, like Miracle Across 32nd Street or what the hell the movie's called. Like they're all like uplifting, like you find yourself at the end. Like it's supposed to be like you're supposed to be like feel like love and like happiness for the holidays. Where these two movies, like, they want to make you just uncomfortable. They want to make you sick, especially the second, like the remake. It wants to make you sick. It's with the original, it's just there's a lot going on in it. The characters are way more fleshed out. There's a lot of characters in it. The aspect of like having detectives trying to like help them, because that is like not in the remake. It's completely gone. It's a little bit more shallow, and just having this, like, I was not expecting the whole aspect of like John Saxon from like Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You know, I was not expecting him to like have such a big role, and like him actually trying to help these women like figure out what the hell is going on with like their missing friend and stuff. It's pretty great. It was very classy for a slasher. There was still elements of just like it trying to be trashy with like it has a weird sense of humor. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of like drinking and like alcoholics, like the sorority mothers, like the older people in the house are like drinking all the time. It's very funny. Like the old lady, I think her Barbara. I don't know what the fuck. There's a lot of Barbaras in these two movies. It's one of the most like cliched names for horror movies, because I think Night of the Living Dead just like ruined it for everybody. So yeah, like there's this lady who just like drinks. Like she has like a fucking book that's like carved out, and like it has like a indent for alcohol so she can hide it and drink. And like she has one hidden like in the top part of the toilet. And, like she has like a string attached to it, and like she still drinks it. Like what the hell? That's so gross. Let's hide it anywhere else, you fucking maniac. And the movie has a good. It's almost like cliched, but it wasn't cliche at the time. It's just one of the few original movie horror slashers that came out. Like I think 1974, I think, is probably the same time that Texas Chainsaw came out, where, you know, it's starting to set the trend of like the final girl. You build it up to the final girl scene where she's being chased around and stuff. And the final girl in this movie is played by Olivia Hussey. Her name's like Jess, the girl from Romeo and Juliet, everybody's favorite movie, apparently. I've never seen it. And she's pretty good. She's got like a lot of it's weird to see, like, this movie was filmed in Canada. It has like a nice weird, because I'm an American. Everything else outside this country is foreign to me, and so seeing this like almost like Victorian like buildings and stuff, like I was honestly shocked to see like anything outside of just the sorority house, because like in the 2006 version, like it's completely in that house. Like they never leave it. It's all in that one night. It was pretty crazy to see how intricate the plot went. Like there was so much going on, like with the police, the phone people, just like Olivia Hussey's character, like being pregnant and not like wanting to keep it, and like telling, like there's so much going on. Like the piano boyfriend, who's like supposed to be like the red herring of this movie. You're supposed to like, you're supposed to expect that it's that guy, I guess, even though it's clearly not him. And so it just. Like seeing everything play out in that movie is pretty great. Like it's definitely more intricate than the 2006 version. The 1974 Black Christmas is just way more classy. It's definitely less trashy, and it's almost like less typical. Like it's like there's like actual character development going on. They're trying to set a plot going. Like I find the setup of the phone call stuff very interesting. The voices that the guy is, like the slasher guy is doing, is just bizarre. Like I didn't watch this movie with like any subtitles, so it was super like, it was almost just like the ominous feeling that you got from like just like what you could take from it. It was very bizarre. Like just they set up like the Billy and Agnes kind of name and stuff, which they kind of play into in the 2006 version, and it's a lot of good character development. It's like in the 2006 version, it's way more shallow. It's way more simplistic, which, you know, in retrospect in like watching this one, it's a little better. But I still have a soft spot for the 2006 version because it's got just such weird it tries to be fucking like depraved, whereas this movie it's more naturally played out. Like it's so much more down to earth. I find the cast in this movie really good. Like I said, John Saxon, he's pretty great as the detective, and like his whole cop friends that he works with are so weird. And there's the one cop who just like doesn't give, like he doesn't care like to help them, and like he just kind of dismisses everything because like, oh, they're women. And it's like, oh, it's probably just your boyfriend pranking you, like calling you and like telling the most depraved things in the world. It's like, you fucking naive bastard. And like the cop who like just laughs, like that's the only thing he does the entire movie. He just like laughs and like it's a nice it's like a nice Christmas like setup, like almost like your typical Christmas setup, but it's surrounded by horror and just murder and like the first phone call that like the women get in the sorority house. It's like it sets up that it's like the killer's completely fucking insane. Like the dual voices, like the many voices he does during the phone calls he gets, like it's super interesting. Like are we supposed to like interpret that that's like him doing it all by himself? It's very bizarre. Like it's unnerving. Like the whole idea that you'd never find out who the killer is, because it doesn't really matter really. It's more about just like there is a killer in the fucking house more than who it is. And yeah, I feel like a lot of the characters have good looks. Like they just have like a good look to them. Like there's a character who her name's like Phyllis, and like she shows up in the 2006 remake. I was like looking at her face the entire time. I was like, is that lady? Because she plays the sorority mother in the 2006 version. I was like, that has to be her. Like it looks just like her. And yeah, there's a couple. The kills in this movie are, you know, they aren't as just as balls out like crazy like in the 2006 version. They're actually toned down. It leaves more to your like imagination. There's one kill that is kind of like redone in the remake where it's like the glass unicorn stuff. It's more off screen. It's kind of blurred. Even though, like, I love the setup of just, like, the shot with his eye, where he, like, before he stabs her and, like, he's talking to her and, like, calling her, like Agnes or whatever the hell. I don't know, I'm sure if he calls her that. I think I don't know, his crazy brain is not easy to interpret, like, what he wants in that movie, at least in the original. It's pretty vague, which is, you know, it leaves the movie, like, a mystery. It's supposed to be ominous. A lot is left to interpretation, kind of like where you never find out who the killer is. You're not really sure what the motivation is. It's just some crazy fucker. Yeah, with a lot of the characters having like weird fucking like they're just like drinking all the time. Like the two older people are drinking a lot in the movie, which is pretty great. Just to add to this weird level of character to them. Like character like tics to them. Like one of the characters played by Margot Kidder, like who's like Lois Lane from the Superman movies. It's so, I don't know. I've never seen her like in anything besides the Superman like Richard Donner films. Like it's just really funny to see her like just be this weird drunk lady who's like takes no bullshit basically. Yeah, it's just, she gets the fucking like unicorn stab death, which is good because you know at least she gets like the best kill in the entire movie, like because most of them are off screen. Like the other alcoholic lady, like the older, I have no idea what her thing is. She might be a sorority mother, where she's just like she gets like a fucking like a hook to her face, but you never see it. You only see the aftermath of most of the kills. But the unicorn like glass thing is one of the only kills that's like on screen, and it's good to see fucking Lois Lane get it because you know she's got a good look before she went crazy or whatever. Yeah, I think the most admirable aspect of this movie is just like the restraint, but while still being like really disturbing. Like I find like the phone calls to add a lot to this movie. It's one of the creepier parts, and just the ending. The ending of this movie is really like it's good. It's like one of those your generic like he could be anywhere kind of movies, and it really sets up the fact that like the phone calls are really just like one of the things you're dreading, and it ends with a lingering shot of the outside of the house, which by the way like one of the aspects of both of the movies is that the production design is so good. Like especially in the 2006 version, I love the production design. It's really admirable, just what they did with it, with the house. And I love the look of the original house. It's really great. It's really moody. Just having the opening shot is really fun. Like I like just it's just a house, but like there's so much like to take from it. Like it's so like dread filled. And it's almost like a POV shot. I mean, it's basically a POV shot, I'm pretty sure, where you just like you're looking through the windows a lot in this movie. There's multiple shots of like to make you feel almost like a voyeur, and which is really good because there's a lot of voyeur stuff in the second like remake, where like I think the Billy character is like looking. It might be Agnes too. I'm not really sure, but like the characters are like looking at them, and like it really is set up in this movie. Like this is a total like voyeur film where it's just a lot of you're like in the POV of the killer, which is just pretty great. It's spooky. It makes you feel uncomfortable, which I could probably understand why. Like I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure like Roger Ebert would hate this kind of movie where he's like, I feel sick sitting in this theater. That kind of like attitude. But it's the point. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you just want to like jump out of your skin almost. And just to have like every character in this movie just basically bite it. Like all of them are dead by the end of the movie, except for like the John Saxon character. And just like, you know, Olivia Hussey, the character, is like pretty much taken by paranoia. Like she doesn't know who the killer is. It could be anybody, and the fact that she thinks it's like her boyfriend who wants her dead because she's trying to like get rid of her like baby because she's like pregnant, and she's just like scared basically, and he's like a fucking creep too. Like he just breaks into the house. Like what a fucking weirdo. I think, but like at the end of the movie, they're both dead, which just makes it, well, not dead, but I don't know. She's just like lying there, like to make it seem like she's dead, but she's not. But the last shot of the movie is, like, it implies that the killer is still in the house, and it's supposed. I found the ending really like creepy. Like it was really good. It was well done, coming from the guy who did A Christmas Story and like Porky's, like comedies like that. It's really just. Really admirable that this ends in a really like haunting way where like it's just like it lingers a lot. I find like the last like 2 minutes of this movie are really good. It's like just you see Olivia Hussey like laying in the bed and like just kind of like pans throughout the house, and like you still are like uneasy because you're like maybe that her boyfriend character was not really the killer, which obviously is not the killer, and so to see it just end in a very, like, you're gonna go home feeling, like, scared. Like, you're gonna fear for your, like, because it's, the killer's never explained. It's, like, almost the idea that, like, the killer can be anybody and it can be anywhere. Which is a lot of, like, slasher movie kind of deals where they end like that. But I feel like this is one of the first to do it because it's just, like, a really old slasher. This is from 1974. It's probably on, like, the same year that, like, Texas Chainsaw came out. Which is one of the first slashers to ever come out. At least in the mainstream. So it's just Black Christmas 1974 is really admirable. It's really creepy. There's a lot of just uncomfortable scenes with the phone calls and stuff. It's really great. And to see like an actual plot going on, where in the 2006 version it's literally just like a death show. you're waiting for the next kill because it just like sets up the idea that like this is just like almost a gore porn film. Like you're here to watch them die in like the most gruesome way they can, and it's really 1974 Black Christmas is a classy fucking movie. There's like it doesn't pull its punches. It's fucking gross still in its own way, and it's considering it is from 1974, it holds up. It's one of the best slashers. I would agree. It's really good. It captures the Christmas feel. There's a lot of good aspects of like a Christmas movie where it's kind of funny. Like there's like that Christmas kind of comedy in there, and like just weird characters, like the people that like show up at the house who are like at the search party, and like it's just like little quirks that like add to this entire experience where it's like just a good Christmas movie, even though it is like a fucking horror slasher. That's what I'll say about the remake. It's like it's more just like you're in it for the kills, whereas this movie it takes the advantage that this is a Christmas movie, and it's trying to make it a holiday classic. So yeah, one of the best slashers just ever. It's inspiration to like movies that like just like stole from it. Even like Halloween. I want to say steal, but it takes the idea that like a Christmas holiday film, Halloween is a holiday horror film, to see this one come first and like basically be just such an inspiration to so many. 1974 Black Christmas is one of the classiest slashers I've ever seen, and I wanted to really talk about the 2006 depraved fucking nightmare of a movie. It's just I had seen it specifically just because, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it, and she's like amazing. I love her, and like just what I got from this was just so fucked. It was like just I fucking just like love this movie because I'm a sick fuck basically. It's so disgusting. It's in a Christmas movie. I've never seen such violence. I've never seen incest in a fucking Christmas movie ever. Like, this is just one of the most depraved movies. They really went all out. Glenn Morgan, I think his name is, he just decided to just make this as fucked up as possible, which is, considering it's the original Black Christmas 1974 is one of the like most scariest like holiday films. He decided to up the ante as much as he could. He really, I think one of the most admirable aspects of this movie is the lighting. There's a bunch of Christmas fucking lights, there's so much like Christmas vibe. Like in an insane asylum, there's Christmas lights. There's just lights everywhere. There's like it's gonna give you a fucking seizure. It's to really just push forward that this is just a Christmas vibe. It like really just makes you wanna cuddle up in a little blanket and just like watch some sick shit happen on TV. And I'm surprised it's kind of got a low rating, which makes sense because this is such a fucked up movie. It's kind of trashy. It's pretty trashy, considering the movie it's aping off of is fucking one of the classiest slashes I've ever seen. There's barely any gore in it, and just to see this movie really just up the ante, it's no holds barred, just violence. You can really tell that the people who made Final Destination had like something to do with this movie. Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Final Destination 3 is in it. The writer of 1 and 3 is the director. He really just wanted to pay homage to that old movie while still keeping its own soul. And it's really 2000s. Fucking Lacey Chabert from Mean Girls is in it. There's a lot of just 2000 actresses like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and just fucking the whole weirdest. It's just the weirdest fucking movie, honestly. Another actor from the Final Destination movie like shows up. I think she has like that weird kill. I almost want to say it's in Final Destination 1 where she like gets her hand stuck in like the garbage dispenser. I swear, I hope that's from fucking Final Destination and not like Wish Upon, because I think that happens in that movie too. That terrible fucking like box that makes Wish's movie, which is awful. But it's great to see just like that team come and make like its own, like, because there's no killer really in the Final Destination movies. It's just like death itself. So it's nice to see like they're like an actual antagonists in this movie like just show up and do the violence instead of it like just being like omniscient beings, whatever you want to call the things that are killing people in Final Destination, and just it's great. Like it's just I don't mind the trashiness of it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to see as many gore kills as you can. Just give me all like the gooeyest practical effects. It's just that's what I'm here for. which I feel, you know, it's from the 1974. That's why it's not as fucked up as this one is. Although, you know, it's I feel like the first phone call in Black Christmas 1994 is like way more like sick than any of the phone calls. Like there's like only like one phone call I think in the 2006 version where it like kind of just pays tribute to the original. And so yeah, just a really fucking depraved movie. Like it's like the first scene is it's setting up like what you're in for. Basically one of the characters like sisters gets like a fucking pen to the face. Like a bag over the face, and like there's a ton of eye trauma in this movie. There's like just eyes getting ripped out. It's really just fucked up. Like not a lot of movies do that, where it's just totally focused on eyeball gore. Like that comes from like a lot of like Italian movies, like Zombie, I think it's called, where there's an iconic shot of the fucking woman getting like pushed into like a wood spike into her fucking eye, and it's just really disgusting. And it brings backstory, which there is none to the killer in the first movie. It over explains a lot, but that's kind of just to spice it up from the original. Because like, do you really want the same bullshit again? Like at least it tries to be different. There's a lot of good things it does. Like it explores the backstory of Billy, with the character who's like the trauma-filled killer in this movie, who has like an incest daughter with his mother. Like it's that's already like fucking weird for a Christmas movie. Like the whole house is the house of Billy the Killer's. It's kind of like Halloween a bit. It's kind of like Halloween, or if someone lived in that house. Oh, so he's trying to come back home, and just like it's so weird. I think one of the best aspects of this movie is just having like a really fucked up killer. Like this killer is just really traumatized. The whole like flashback scene with Billy and like his mother just being like a fucking psycho. Like it's really it's almost compelling, even though it's total trash. Like like having this like insane mother who hates Christmas basically, and like he like really has like fond memories of Christmas with like his dad, and like his mother kills his dad kind of stuff. It's almost like why explain all this stuff, but it's still, it gives the movie its own soul. Like it's not just a fucking total ripoff. The 2006 Black Christmas pays good homage to the original. Like it doesn't want to steal from it. It just wants to be its own thing. It adds a little bit of flair. Like it has a character from the original, Phil, who has like the big round glasses and like kind of like the 70s white girl afro kind of thing. She comes back as the sorority mother, and she's pretty fun. I like her lip. It's nice to see like at least some like character come back from the original, and it fits appropriate. It's like just one of the older lady is just the sorority mother, and it fits. And having the movie be basically centered around the kills is pretty 2000s. Like that's basically a lot of the movie, where it's a lot of movies in 2000s where it's just you're here for the gore. You're here to see these people just get like the most crazy practical effect done on them. And just the idea that there are two killers in this movie is it doesn't fully explain that right away. So there's a little bit like of intrigue. It's not just totally spelled out for you. In the beginning of the movie, you see the first kill happen, and then later on you see Billy still in the insane asylum, so you're almost confused, but there's still a level of intrigue, because you don't fully understand what's going on in the plot. And that's what this movie is like way self-contained. It's like they never leave, unlike the original. They never leave this house. Like it's always, besides when it shows Billy escaping from like the insane asylum, it's these women are basically stuck there. It's like winter. They're like snowed in basically, and to just have two killers, it's like it's pretty interesting. It's not just, I don't know. It almost feels like they cared about this movie, even though they totally did. The production design in this movie is really great. Like I said before, this movie will give you like a fucking Christmas epileptic shock. It's just, there's so many lights. It's fun. There's a lot of just glimmer, and like especially like I love how Billy's face is just like shown in the flashback. Just like the weird, like the fucking weird incest baby that happens to be one of the killers is just, it's played by a guy, even though it's supposed to, like, Agnes, the character, is supposed to be a female, I think, but it's played by a man, just to, like, it's almost like in bad taste, because it's like, incest baby and all that, and it's just, it's really, like, unnerving, just to have, like, this weird, like, it's so creepy, like, his whole look, he's got, like, long hair, it's almost like it almost reminds me of the Halloween remake, the Rob Zombie's Halloween. It looks like him almost. Like, it's so creepy. And I find Billy a really classic look on him. His whole just vibe, like the black backstory of him like making cookies out of his mother. That's fun. He eats milk and like flesh cookies out of his mother, because she's a bitch anyway. Like, she's a total psycho. And it's almost deserved. You almost feel bad for him, but I mean, he's a total nutcase by the end of it. We set the movie up with showing off the first kill, and then we get into the sorority house, which has a bunch of like 2000 actresses. Like I said, Lacey Chabert from fucking Mean Girls, and like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was like supposed to be like in Mean Girls, but she did Mean Girls, but she didn't take the role or some bullshit. And just to have, like, it's a good cast. I feel it's not as memorable almost as like the original. The original has like this almost like, the dialogue is almost like uncut gems, like, or like everybody's kind of like talking over each other. Whereas in this movie, it's more like generic, which is fine. I mean, this is just like a trash movie almost anyway. And to see just good kills is what you're here for. And it really does go all out with the Christmas vibe. I don't even remember seeing a Christmas tree in like the original 1974 Black Christmas. There's at least a Christmas tree in this movie. Not just in case there is not one in the 1974 version. And yeah, it's just really just tries to make this Christmas holiday film a really fucked up, depraved kind of depressing nightmare where Billy is a fucking trauma-filled person who was like forced incest upon, and like all the characters have their own shit going on. Where one of the, I forget her name. Like, one of my problems with this movie is like just all the fucking names are so hard to remember. The only the one I remember at all is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, like Heather. And that one's just easy to remember because I think of Total Drama Island. It's the only way I can remember that at all. And we start the movie off with the lady in the car making out with her boyfriend, like who's supposed to be like the red herring. And then we find ourselves like just getting introduced to these characters. They're so much more shallow. Definitely, they're not as well rounded. There's less things going on with them, unlike the original. They're basically here to die. And you know what? I'm fine with that. It's total, like, I'm here just for the kills. That's why we're here. That's why you're here to see like any Final Destination movie. Or this is almost in the same vein, even though it's just like a regular slasher movie. But you can tell that the writer of those movies has something to do with this. It's so just like the characters are so basic. Like they're very surface level. Black Christmas 2006 honestly did not do too bad in the box office. It like its budget was like $1.3 million, and the fucking box office takeaway was like 20 million. That's honestly pretty great for such a fucking trash movie like this. I'm honestly to see at least somebody saw it, you know. It kind of gets a bad rap, even though it's like it's well made. Like it's not total nonsense. There's at least like there's an attempt to make a plot here, and not just like steal it from the original. It's not just like a rehash. It takes the idea that like there's people in a house getting killed. That's like pretty much what it takes from it. It like I feel in the original, the characters that are mentioned on the phone, Billy and Agnes, like I don't. It's barely like expanded on at all. But at least here they take those names and they do something with it. It's you can tell they care about the old movie. And the old movie had like a $600,000 budget, and it like made like $1.3 million, and like that's admirable for such a fucking low budget movie. Like at least like it got an audience and it got a cult following after. I'm sure like once VHS and all that come around, it probably made way more, and people saw it more once like the whole slasher craze of the 80s and 70s came out. Probably got a lot more love. And there's a 2019 Black Christmas which I've never seen. I've avoided at all costs. I've heard it's woke. It's just I don't want to deal with any of that. I haven't heard a single thing about like any of the kills in that movie, and that's kind of like what you're here for. Like make your goddamn slasher movie about fucking kills. Like at least this movie delivers. Like most of the kills are fucking like gross in this movie. There's a kill with like an ice skate to the neck kind of thing. I think someone's like I think Agnes throws a fucking ice skate at somebody's head. I forget whose head. Like it's just like, and like they bring back the ice unicorn glass thing and they kill somebody with it. It's just they really try. They really try with their kills in this movie, and that's pretty admirable. They didn't like fucking just bullshit this movie out. They really wanted to give its own experience. And they really wanted to make this like, really dark. That's the point. Like this is a Black Christmas movie. This is supposed to be almost like it's almost demonic. Even like in the first movie where it's the phone calls are really fucking creepy, and they just are really unnerving. They're almost like unnaturally done. Like it's like I don't even like know how you're supposed to interpret those calls in the first movie. It's like, is this supposed to be coming from one person? I think it's like implied that like some of the sounds you're hearing are from like the victims that he's killing. But just like the one shot you get from him in 1974, like you see his like face when he has like the unicorn thing. It's really unnerving. Like he's like almost a demon. Like he's just like this weird killer who's fucking insane. He's really crazy in that movie. You really get the sense in the 1974 version that he's like legit just like the most mad motherfucker. Like he's insane. And in this movie they kind of like, I don't want to say they make him sympathetic, but they at least give him like a reason to be killing people. Not like it's a good reason really to be killing anybody, but they give him some motivation. He's like just like a really like sexually traumatized and like just traumatized in general character. So that's it. Kind of just it adds context to him being like a weird voyeur almost. I think a little bit like there's a weird voyeurist shit going on with Agnes too. Like Agnes is such a weird aspect of this movie. Like I find it so weird. Like in the flashback, like the character of Agnes is played by like a little girl, and then like in the future she becomes like a weird demon man, and it's like what? It's so weird. Like that's like one of the aspects of this movie that just like gives that little oomph like of just bizarreness to make it kind of creepy, and I feel like it works. It's really unnerving. Just that's the one thing admirable about this movie I feel is that the killers are given some love. I mean, even though they're fucking crazy, it's like a father-daughter, even though the daughter is played by a grown man, I think, by the end of when they're growing up. It's just really weird. Like, there's a lot of just darkness to this movie, which makes sense because this movie is called fucking Black Christmas. And it's just like the kills they're good. They're fun. They're disgusting. They want you to be unnerved and creeped out. I mean, one of the funniest parts of this movie is that, like, just the Mary Elizabeth Winstead and, like, the old lady who's the sorority mother in this movie, who's also in the 1974 Black Christmas. Like, that scene is so funny. Just like they're trying to escape and go to the police, I think, and then like just like the little comedic timing of like of Mary Elizabeth Winstead and, like, I think her character in this movie, Phil, from the 1974 version. I think her name is Barbara. So many Barbas in this goddamn series. By series, I mean at least 2 movies. That third movie doesn't even count. And, like, she tells her to, like, scrape off the fucking ice from the windshield, and she doesn't even, like, know what the hell she has in her hand. And then, like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead looks at her like she's fucking crazy. And then, like, Barbara is scraping off the ice of the windshield, and, like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's kill is so just weird. She's like, as Barbara's cutting the ice off, she just, like, the windshield inside blows up with blood. It's like, what the fuck even happened? What happened to Mary? It's so, like, just, like, it's played for laughs, almost. Like, it's just so weird. Like, one of my shame things is that like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead had never really gotten an on-screen kill. That's my one gripe with this movie. I wanted to see her at least get something, like, her body get, like, killed. Like, it's just, like, her, like, you just see a blood splatter. That's basically it for her, and then, like, she's gone from the movie entirely. And then Barbara just, like, fumbles around and, like, is scared, and then she gets killed by a fucking icicle to the fucking head. It's just, that's so silly. It's just ridiculous. Like, every kill is just completely over the top. It really just... And the whole, like, end setup of when they finally go into the attic, which is one of the weirdest aspects of that original movie. Like, why did no one go into that fucking attic? Like, no one checked. Even the cops didn't even check, because I feel like at the end of the movie, the bodies are still in the attic. How did no one check up there? Like, how the fuck? But, I mean, I guess it's the 70s. Cops sucked or something. Yeah, so, and once they finally go into the attic of this 2006 one, it's like this whole, like, Christmas mural. I don't, like, it's trying to, like, just be creepy. There's, like, the headless, eyeless heads on, like, spokes and Christmas trees and stuff. It's really fucked up. And just really, it's just fucking insane. I think one of the most, like, the best scenes in this movie are just, besides the kills, I feel like are just the setting up of, like, a Billy, and just with the flashback, but also the scene with the insane asylum. Like, that's one of the, I love him, like, sucking on, like, a candy cane and, like, making it like a sharp, like, shank almost. It's, like, silly, and, like, the most reckless fucking security person ever to, like, I guess he thinks he escaped, right? But he goes into Billy's fucking, like, cage asylum room, and he fucking gets himself stabbed in the neck with a candy cane. I'm assuming he's killed, I guess, but he gets, like, stabbed in the neck with a candy cane, which is Christmas as fuck. Good job, movie guys, you did it. There's a lot of just, like, I guess there's a lot of Christmas kills. There's a lot of just candy canes, Christmas tree impalements with guts everywhere. They really go all out with the whole Christmas aesthetic and the whole making cookies out of mom kind of shit. It really tries. It's trying to be as in vain with Christmas. It's just, like, even though it's a completely sick fucking movie. And yeah, just Billy is one of, like, I like his whole look. He's got, like, jaundice or something. He's, like, yellow. It's really just, like, another layer of weirdness. It's just, the killers are really creepy. Even in the original, like it stays in vein with it, where the killers are fucking creepy as fuck. Like, you never find out what the original one wants, and then you find like the way it settles with like just totally exploring what the killer like just is, like his whole motivation is. I guess he's just basically, he just wants to live in that house. I guess that's his whole motivation is. I don't really remember, but he is just, Agnes and Billy are fucking crazy and they're weird. And I find the final act of this movie kind of dulls once Mary Elizabeth Winstead and the lady Phil from 1974 and Barbara in this one. I feel like once they die, the whole icicle death, it kind of slogs a little bit. But once that lady's boyfriend gets like sucked in the attic, and like they get fucking like, they finally see like the whole death mural, it like really picks up. Another weird aspect of this movie is like the people going through, like walking through the walls, like they're like Spider-Man or something. They're like just like crawling through like the walls of the movie, like to get around, to be hidden. There's the weirdest house ever. There's just like secret passages, and like somehow Billy is like looks through like a tile underground, like through the shower. He can so you can get some tits in your movie. Like he is being like a weird voyeur. Like, how the fuck did he, like, what is this layout of this house? How is he standing under this? And like he's just staring at her and being a creep because he's Billy. Just, yeah, the third act of this movie is like just pretty insane. Like the last like 10 minutes of this movie is pretty fun. Like, you would assume like the movie would like settle down and like kind of just wrap it up, but like once they're in the hospital, there's like a ton of just balls out kind of like suspense, like the where Agnes kind of like crawls through the fucking hospital wall, and not wall but the roof, and like she comes in and like tries to kill Kelly, I think her name is, one of the characters. She fucking is like, she kills him by like doing like a defibrillator shit and like zapping Agnes. It's like action packed. It's suspense filled. It's like, it really tries at the last 10 minutes, which is admirable, because I feel like that's like the most. It either makes or breaks your film. It could be really boring, where like your antagonist is like, or your slashers are like taken out really easily, but here it's pretty tension filled. There's a little bit more like couple kills that are done that are kind of like just to amp up the suspense. And Billy is just like a relentless fucker. He like just will not let up. He wants these ladies dead, because I guess they burned down his house and you gotta pay. And just, it's pretty great just to see at least these slashers get like really ceremonious deaths, where I find the defibrillator death pretty fun. Like, like, not too many times you see that in movies where the slasher is killed by a fucking defibrillator. Like, the hospital scenes can be really, really boring. Like, Halloween 2 does it okay, even though that movie is like basically entirely in a hospital. But at least in these last 10 minutes of this movie are pretty fun. Where I find like the last hallway chase with Billy, he's like going after this lady. It's hard to remember these characters' names because they're so like not their characters are not concrete enough. I think this character has like her whole shit with her boyfriend cheating on her, making a sex tape and stuff like that. But yeah, he's like chasing her, and then like he through his own, I think his own stupidity, or like they manage to like outsmart him. He falls on a fucking Christmas tree spike. It's just, he kills somebody like in the hallway, just like some random worker, and then he manages to get himself fucking stabbed like with the top ornament of a fucking Christmas tree, and like his guts are like spiraled around it. It's really ceremonious. Like, it feels like a good Christmas time, even though it's so fucking weird and everything around the situation is so like mean-spirited almost. But you know, it's just, it really gets the Christmas vibe at least down and right. It doesn't It doesn't hold back. This is a Christmas movie all the way. It really just makes it. I like a good depraved holiday film. You know, that's what I'm here for. Like, if Eli Roth can manage to make a Thanksgiving movie as depraved as it is, like, I would say this is like way more like just like unpleasant almost. It's more in bad taste, where it's just for Christmas, it's just up the fucking wall and crazy. Up the wall, get it? And just it's really nice to see it take inspiration from this 1974 classic and just to make it its own fucked up nightmare of a movie. It's really just dark. I love it. I love a dark movie to be like it's like a juxtaposition of the holiday being so Jesus-y and like jolly and good, or we have this movie that I can watch every year and like have it be just like my warm comfortable blanket of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, gore, violence, and just like total depraved plot going on with like incest. That's the weirdest aspect of this movie. It's like it didn't need that, but it's in there. And like one of the killers is an incest baby. You did it, guys. You made this fucked up movie, and I love it personally. It's one of the freaking weirdest Christmas movies I've ever seen. Compared to the 1924 version, that one's a little bit more, considering it's more tame. It feels almost generic in like hindsight, right? It's just your run of the mill slasher, whereas this movie is it's so bizarre. Like there's so much there's little quirks with the slashers just being one of the weirdest aspects of it. Their whole backstory and just like Billy being yellow. It's just like, what the fuck? Who thought of this? And I guess the fucking Final Destination guy. But yeah, it's one of my favorite movies to watch around Christmas. Like I'll take this movie over Home Alone, A Christmas Story, even though I'd watch Black Christmas as well, the original. And like I can't even think of another Christmas movie, honestly, besides Home Alone and A Christmas Story. But you know, this is my movie that I love. This is my baby. The unrated version is probably the best way to go. Like it has more kills and shit. That's what you're here for. Fuck everything else. I'm here for the gore and just the practical gooiness of everything. It makes it. I love just gore in general when it's done right, because it's so like real gore isn't that fun. Like I mean, it's fun to see people put effort into their shit. I love this movie, 'cause even though it's really shallow, it's dumb, it's really depraved, but you know that's sometimes what a movie calls for. Like people will like to watch Krampus around Christmas, but I feel like that movie, I don't like kids movies. I mean like movies that star kids in it. Like it makes me want to just fall asleep almost. Like I hate children actors a lot of the time, but this is my go-to horror film. Like I love Black Christmas or Black Xmas. You know, I even love the original. It was honestly great. Like even though it's a little bit more what you're like expecting, it's still great. It has its own disturbing flair to it, and I just love fucked up shit for holidays. So Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy Hanukkah and all that nonsense. I hope you watch this movie just for the fuck of it. It's great, even though it's not. It's trash, but it's so good because it tries, at least tries. So happy holidays, everybody.
If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.